I'm Kat.
I'm Hayley.
And this is Night Classy, the podcast where tipsy teachers teach fascinating lessons. What are we drinking, Hayley?
White Claws. We are drinking White Claws. I've got a strawberry.
And
White
I have, wasn't sure if you're going to keep going. I have a pineapple. We just finished our blackberry.
The blackberry ones taste like grape to me. Do they have grapes? Grape ones?
Do they have grape ones?
Yeah, grape
I don't
White Claws.
think so, but they should. Like, I feel like grape should have been the move before blackberry.
Yes, it gives me a headache.
The blackberry gives you a headache?
Yeah, or maybe it's you. I don't really know.
It's probably me. To me, the blackberry tastes like raspberry. And the raspberry tastes like also raspberry, but like a different kind of raspberry flavoring.
Yeah, it's kind of like how there's actual banana flavor and then banana flavoring.
Yeah.
We've talked about this a lot on this podcast, actually.
We have. We're very into it. But like the blackberry White Claws, like they don't taste like blackberries. They taste like a more authentic raspberry flavor in my mind.
They taste like grape to me, but
Grape.
what do I know?
I'd like a grape White Claw.
Don't they have them?
No.
Dang, for the longest time since it's purple, I thought it was grape.
You thought, oh, that's why it tastes like grape to you, because it's purple.
Yeah, because my mind told me that it's grape.
I took a sip of the pineapple one after drinking the blackberry, and it was a true shock to my system. I'm
in a
still
good
recovering.
way or a bad way?
In a good way, because I prefer the pineapple, but it was like the flavor was very strong and sour versus
You're like,
the mild blackberry. Yeah. Took me a minute to adjust.
Yeah, we both downed the blackberries and we're ready to go because we both don't prefer it. So
yeah. There was like 2 blackberries in there, and I was like, "Do you like blackberry, Hayley?" And she was like, "No." And I'm like, "Well, I don't either. So let's both drink one, so it's fair."
yeah, now there's one more. So
I know
it's all you.
It's a race to get there. So whoever finishes this one first gets the mango one, and then the other person who loses gets the blackberry.
Okay, let's freaking go.
Let's fucking go. But yeah, it's a good time. I needed this today. It was a Monday for me.
Oh my goodness, there were so many meltdowns today. It was so clear. I don't know what everyone else was doing. We're recording this the day after Halloween, so I have a feeling a lot of my kids were up trick-or-treating or just eating candy, doing Halloween things, and that made today not as much fun as it could have been.
Yeah, I can't imagine being a preschool teacher the day after Halloween, because with my middle schoolers, like they were up all night, so they came in tired and just nobody wanted to do anything all day. It was like pulling teeth to get them to like literally pick up a pencil. They just were so tired they wanted to sleep, and that made it tough to teach because it was just low energy. But I'd take that over tantrums 100%.
One of my students just threw himself on the floor
Oh no.
and started crying, screaming anytime he was rejected from what he wanted today.
Oh my God.
I don't know. Just a lot.
I don't know how you do it. I'm in awe every time I hear one of these stories, because I taught 6th grade and I will never go back. Like the 6th graders are too immature for me. I'm too impatient for them. Mm-hmm. I love teaching 7th and 8th grade compared to 6th grade. And I'm just imagining 6th grade, but like times a freaking million. I could not.
Freaking million. I know. On Friday, I myself had a miniature meltdown in the hallway because everyone in my class was having a meltdown in the hallway. And the teaching assistant from one of the other classes was like, "Oh my gosh, like, are you okay?" She called me this week and was like, "Do you eat chocolate?" I was like, "What do you mean?" Yes, obviously.
I'm not Tommy.
Yeah. Look at me. Do I look like I don't eat chocolate? Because I do.
My hair is shiny and my skin is glowing. I eat chocolate.
I'm a happy person. I eat chocolate.
Yeah.
So she brought me chocolate today.
Aww.
I ate the entire bag of Hershey Kisses because I was starving at lunch. And she brought me my favorite Sun Chips. bag of those. I know.
That's real. So
Bless
she's the reason you ate something today, because before this we were like, wow, like I was like, all I've eaten is microwave pizza and Cheetos, and Hayley's like, all I've eaten is Hershey Kisses and Sun Chips. We're two of the same.
She fed me today. Well, last week there were so many events and things at school that I got fed one way or another, and I didn't really have to pack lunch, or it had so much food to have for lunch that by the time I got home to have dinner, I told Tommy I'm not even hungry.
Wow.
And so he was like, you'll be fine today. We don't need to pack lunches tonight.
You can forage.
Yeah, you can forage for your lunch. And I did.
Hey,
I'm a
it
survivor.
worked out. You are.
I'm a survivor of teaching preschool the day after Halloween.
I keep like bags of chips and bags of candy and cans of pop in my room to like give to kids as rewards. But I do not give them very often. What it really becomes is I don't have to pack a lunch because I can eat 3 bags of Lay's and a bag of peanut M&Ms, and I'm good to go.
It's your reward for showing up.
That's true. That's true. That's the reason to go to work. I don't have chips at home, but I have chips at work.
Yeah, I'm going to get my potato chips. When I got home today, I was like, damn, I wish I had saved some of that Skyline dip. We made some of this dip. I almost want to say sauce because it is very runny, but it's just cream cheese, some chili from a can from Cincinnati, and some cheese on top. And it's not something that you'd want to save, I'd say. You're not going to reheat that
I would have
shit.
saved it.
I should have saved it. I should have, because I wanted it so fucking bad when I got home.
I know. It had meat in it, and I was really jealous of you guys last night. I love chili dip.
Yeah.
I was like, those bitches. They
Gotta
wanted
get
it for
you.
themselves.
Yeah, well, duh. I almost made a double batch, but I was like,
I saw the second can, and I was like, who does she think is going to eat that?
We got 3 cans of chili because
God.
I've really been craving Skyline with the freaking noodles. So
I know. Did you make the
set.
noodles?
No, we're going to.
Can I get in on that? I want to make noodle chili.
Well,
I'll make my own chili.
You're kind of like not dependable on chili night because we scheduled one and
when
like a month ago.
I don't know.
And then I came down and
first time I'm
you guys were making HelloFresh. And
what
are
you talking about?
We literally said while we were recording on a Friday.
Do not trust anything we say while we're recording. I never remember what we talk about. It has to be a conversation, not recording.
You're just a different person. So why should I trust you right now?
I am a different person when we're recording. You want to know what Alex's mom told Cam?
I think, yes. Tell the people, because I heard this.
I've been going over to Alex's parents' house every Wednesday, and I have a lovely time there. And like we have dinner and we watch Great British Bake Show. And Alex's mom told Cam she's worried I'm not having fun because when I'm at their house, I don't sound like when I'm on night classy. It's like This is not me. This is not me. This is an act. I never sound like this because I am an introvert, and this is me dumping my entire social limit for the week into 1 hour.
It's the most conversating you do all week.
100%.
For sure. Yeah.
And I think it's a healthy exercise for me because I would not do this, talk for a sustained amount of time if it weren't for this podcast.
I know. My anxiety the other day was like, man, like Kat and I don't like talk for so long ever like outside of the podcast. Like we're not talking for hours on end outside of the podcast. But then I was like, no, that's just who we are.
Yeah.
Like we have our conversations and we hang out, but it's not like I'm calling you on the phone to talk with you for hours.
I don't talk to
end.
any of my friends on the phone.
No.
Like I don't talk like I'm just very introverted, and like we used to hang out more before the podcast, and then but like that was also like during the
before
pandemic and before boyfriends, and but like I feel like we are so focused on like we have 2 hours a week where we look into each other's eyes without any distractions and have a conversation, and I think that's all I can handle. Like we do hang out, we sit together most nights, and we watch TV.
We do.
But
we have our batch nights. I need no more, no less.
And out of all my friends, I talk to you the most.
Yeah, agreed.
Yeah.
Agreed. It's so hard to talk on the phone. I talk to 2 of my friends on the phone, and that's not even on a regular basis.
I know. I feel so bad. I'm the kind of person that forgets to respond to a text, and then I don't talk to my friends for 2 years.
Yeah.
And that's something I need to go to therapy for. Like, seriously, I just forget, and I don't think about it because I don't like talking. Like, I like talking once I'm talking, but it's hard to get there.
It is. Alec and I were just saying on Saturday we have to be in the right mindset to talk on the phone with somebody, or even to reply to text.
Same. I get mad anxiety replying to text. I just I can't even look at it. Like, it's a relief to me when the text that I need to reply to is far enough down in my text messages that I can't see it anymore. And then I don't have to think about it, because whenever it's there, it's like that pang in your stomach when you see it. And it's not even like it's a bad text.
It's not hard.
It'll be like my aunt saying like, hey, like, thinking about you, hope you're doing well. And I'm like, I can't reply.
I'm not doing well.
I'm not doing well, and I can't handle it.
Yes, this whole conversation was reminding me, I don't even know when it was, but it was months ago now. A friend from college, I had texted him for his birthday, and he was like, thank you. Like, how you doing? Are you still in Memphis? And I never responded.
And it's not like you don't want to respond. It's just like, for some reason, you're like, this is causing me fear. I don't know why, but like, it's triggering a fear response, and I can't look at it, and I want to respond, but then I feel like I have to have the perfect response, and I need to be in the right mindset for the perfect response, and then I never get in that mindset.
There. Yeah, it's a completely unattainable standard that we set for ourselves.
This is why birthdays are unfair, because suddenly you have 20 texts and you're expected to respond to them on a day that's supposed to be about, don't text me on my birthday, please.
Don't do it.
Like, unless you're a close relative or my best friend, please don't. I know you're trying to be nice, but it stresses me the fuck out.
Should we reschedule your birthday?
No.
Or should we just let it pass?
I just let it pass. Alec brought it up today. He's like, in a couple months, you'll be 25. I was like, fuck you.
That's
don't tell me that.
100. A quarter.
I know.
And
that's
like the best
coin. The age thing does. That's the best coin. Actually, a Sacagawea dollar is the best coin, but that's besides the point.
The run-of-the-mill coins in the United States. Cat.
That is a United States coin. Where do you think?
I don't think.
Where else do you think Sacagawea is?
I said run-of-the-mill. Can you walk into a gas station and ask for change in Sacagaweas?
But they come out when you buy things from the vending machine, and they give you change. They give you those gold coins.
Where?
Everywhere.
I have never.
Maybe it's just the vending machine at my last job, because I'd put in 5s to get a Diet Coke, and like out would come Sacagawea coins every time.
Dang.
So I had like a lot.
Is that even real? What if it was just full of fake coins?
No, they're real. And there was like one point where I was really broke, and I had to like bring my coin jar to Coinstar, and I lost all my Sacagawea coins.
Been there. Well, rest in peace.
R.I.P.
to the coins and the person.
It's like, I'm gonna keep these forever. Just kidding.
Just kidding. I really need this $10.
It's like, I'm going on a trip and I need this. Yeah. But yeah. So Halloween was last night. Oh shit. We had our Halloween happy hour, and we forgot to take a picture of our costumes.
Yeah, we did do that.
Well, sorry, everyone.
I'm returning everything that I bought from Amazon for my costume.
Are you serious?
Hell yeah!
What did you buy from Amazon?
I bought the goggles for it. I bought the lab coat. I also bought the wig to be you, but it looked terrible on me, so I didn't want to do that. So that's like $60 I'm going to get back.
Please do. I didn't realize you bought the lab coat and the goggles. I thought you had that from college.
No, I wish.
Yeah. I had a lab coat and goggles many moons ago, and then I flunked out of calculus. Just kidding. But I barely passed.
For those who are wondering.
Not calculus. Fuck, you don't need a lab
chemistry?
coat for calculus. Chemistry.
No wonder she flunked out.
I didn't even know what class I was in.
Oh my gosh. Yeah, you definitely don't need that for calculus. Not that I would even know, because I could not even get through chemistry, hardly even at all. Like, I was my chemistry teacher's favorite student because I had to go get tutored by her every day my junior year during lunch.
Aw, that's always how it works. But anyway, do you want to tell everyone what you were?
Yeah, I was a hoe for science.
And she like made a hoe.
A garden hoe.
And she taped it to her back, and Alec and I thought she was a whale in a lab coat because it looked like a whale tail coming out of her back.
Like, yeah, I'm not a hoe in the sense that I'm a garden hoe. I'm a hoe who has a whale tail, you know, like 2000s whale
Right,
tail. That's the
2000s
pun. Yes. And you?
I thought my costume would be cooler than it was, but it turns out I suck at making things. But I tried hard.
I think it looked exactly like the pictures.
That's true. It kind of did. Maybe like myself failing at it was a good thing because it looked more authentic. But anyway, I was a physical medium from the Victorian era. So like
with ectoplasm.
With ectoplasm. So I covered a balloon in gauze, and then I had it coming out of my mouth, and I cut out a picture of Britney Spears' face and stuck it on the balloon and put gauze all around it. And in my mind, I thought the balloon was going to float with all the gauze on it behind me, so it would like look really cool like a ghost, but the gauze was too heavy with all the glue, so it did not float. And then it also deflated a whole bunch because I made it the day before.
You made it the day before?
Yeah, because I didn't go to work on Thursday.
Oh, yeah.
So I had
just, like,
time.
super excited.
Yeah.
Yeah. That's like on Thursday we recorded with What the Gays Say. Y'all need to go listen to that episode if you haven't already. And I got home and I was so tired from work. I was just like, I need to take a nap. And then I started thinking about what costume I could wear. And it was like that costume strength came through.
Costume strength is real.
It is so real. It's inspiring.
Truly. But anyway, do you have any plugs? I'm ready to fucking go.
Yeah, let's do this thing.
So I blew a .046.
I blew a .030.
So I'm first, and this is a very special topic. Let me just take a sip of my White Claw to prepare myself.
Dead air.
It's
just for you.
It's not dead air. You could hear me gulping. Anyway.
That's worse.
That's good. Okay. This is a lesson chosen by our newest $10 tier Patreon, Helena, and she chose a lesson on localization. Do you know what that is?
No idea.
I had no idea what that was either. And like it'll make sense once you hear about it. It'll be like, I know what this is, but like I never heard the word for it.
How GPSs work. A
No.
podcast story.
Good God, no. She has better taste than that. Also, this is a very photo heavy lesson, and we'll be showing the photos in the YouTube video. So if you want to watch along with listen, definitely go check that out. And by the way, thank you so much to everyone who has recently subscribed to our YouTube. We really appreciate that. Definitely go watch and like our videos to offset the juggalos that have taken to hating in the comments. That would be great.
I would hate us too. If I were a juggalo.
Oh, we're just like
juggala.
dumb upper middle class white girls like butchering their subculture on a podcast. Like I feel a little bad. I knew this was going to happen. I really tried to do them justice, but apparently I didn't do my research according to all the comments, some of which got deleted by YouTube because they did not meet the community guidelines.
Whoa.
Yeah.
Oh, I didn't know that.
Shout out.
So we're doing a good job.
We're doing great.
You gotta win
things
some
are great
and lose some.
And the fun part about when comments don't meet the community guidelines is I still see them, even though they're deleted by YouTube. So I got to read them.
They don't meet the community guidelines, but we're gonna let you see just so you know what you're dealing with, how much they don't like you. Not saying that they don't like you, but just read the comment.
Honestly, I'm not upset about it. Like, I get it. If like a straight, like, what the fuck, like, who's a good example of this? Like, just like man's man type of like annoying dude did an episode like on Taylor Swift. I'd go in the comments and be like, you don't fucking know what you're talking about. So like, I get it.
You would comment on that?
No. I wouldn't.
You would think about
but I would be
commenting.
mad. So like I get where the anger is coming from. I totally get
the
it.
anger.
I am not the target demographic for that music, and I did my best to do research in one day on something that people dedicate their life to. So like I understand. Anyway, this is not about that. This is about Helena's topic, localization. And what localization is the process of adapting content from one country or language, so content being like movies, TV, advertisements, to be consumed by another region.
Okay.
That's
that makes
cool.
sense. Yeah.
Mm-hmm. And we see this a lot with just your run-of-the-mill dubbing. And you probably know what dubbing is. If you don't, it's where a voice actor speaks over the original dialogue on a foreign TV show or movie to the local language wherever it's being released. So Squid Game is, you can watch it dubbed in English, or you can watch it with the Korean language and the subtitles.
Isn't it Squid Games?
I don't fucking know. I haven't watched it.
Well, it's two different
Don't at me.
things. So
Is it?
yeah.
Squid Game and Squid Games.
Yeah, it's not the same.
Well, it's not the same, but is there is there one thing that's that and then another thing that's the other thing?
Somewhere out there, I'm
There's
sure.
a Squid Game and a Squid Games.
Yeah. There's the actual Squid Games, and then there's all the things that have been tagged Squid Game that they're trying to be Squid Games.
Just like
it's now two different
the
things.
failure hashtag, like when people don't know what they're talking about, like me, come for me in the comments, bitches. Anyway, where was I? So localization goes beyond just dubbing because it changes the original content a little bit. In dubbing, the voice actor just directly translates it, but in localization, you'll often see the content being changed or the message being changed to suit the culture, or I don't know what another word for culture, where it's being released, or the target audience. In recent decades in the United States, especially in the 90s and early 2000s, we saw this really clearly, especially in anime. And very notable, some would even say infamous, is the American licensing company, previously a film and television production company, 4Kids Entertainment. 4Kids specialized in dubbing anime series and releasing them in the United States from 1992 to 2012. And their first major success was Pokemon, releasing Pokemon to U.S. audiences. The head of 4Kids, and we're throwing it back to the Pokemon episode, which I love, a little
Hell
callback.
yeah. I just really missed my opportunity to have been a Pokemon kid, and I'm kind of upset.
You should be
honestly.
upset. And like, I wish that I was allowed to be a Pokemon kid because I really wanted to be, but my mom, I talked about this on the Pokemon episode, she didn't let me watch it.
Yeah.
Which is super rude.
That is rude. I don't know what happened to me.
I know. You didn't even like want it.
No, my stepsister had Pokemon cards, and I was
Yeah.
like, this is way too hard to understand. I'm not doing it.
Oh yeah, fuck learning how to play the game. That's way too hard.
So it just completely deterred me. I was busy doing Amish girl shit.
That's fair. That's fair. The head of 4Kids was named Al Khan, and he was on a business trip in Japan when he noticed some kids playing Pocket Monsters, which is what it was called. He was intrigued and thought it was really cool. He managed to convince Nintendo to bring the game to the United States and also change its name. He felt like the title of Pocket Monsters was too generic, and he wanted a name, and this is a quote from him, quote, Japanesey, which yikes, but
Yeah.
they went with it, and that's how it was retitled Pokemon for US audiences, and it kind of stuck. They changed the protagonist name from Santoshi to Ash Ketchum, which we also talked about in the Pokemon episode, and they rewrote scripts to relate more to American children. So the Pokemon we know is not a direct translation. Overall, it's fairly close. They didn't change too much, but there's certainly noticeable differences. Probably the most famous of these changes, and it's so funny, Helena, I think, sent me this one, but because she sent me a lot of content, it was amazing. But I remember seeing this as a kid and being like, what? Like, that doesn't make sense. There's this scene where, and I think there's more than one of these scenes. Brock is eating rice balls or onigiri, and they're clearly rice balls, but in the script, they call them jelly donuts.
Oh,
I
no.
remember that as a kid.
And what, didn't it weird you out? You're like, that's not a jelly donut. What the fuck?
Yeah.
But I have a photo that you can look at.
Like, why are you
There he
trying to
is.
make jelly donuts happen?
It's literally rice balls wrapped in seaweed. And he goes, these donuts are great. Jelly filled are my favorite.
I feel like they're just, I don't know who worked on these scripts to translate them, but I feel like they're just kind of making fun of Americans
making fun of
with this.
Americans, or like it kind of goes the opposite way. Like it's also criticized of being like very like Eurocentric and racist, being like we don't even want the word rice balls in this cartoon for American audiences. And apparently the company worried that American children wouldn't recognize rice balls or onigiri with food as like food, which is a little like not great either, because he's eating them. They're obviously food. It's kind of like almost insulting to the intelligence of American audiences, like what you just said. Like it's clearly food. But that's one change.
I'm just speechless.
It's just like, why jump through all these hoops? And like it just makes it more confusing. And that's a trend that we'll see a lot, is a lot of times like this is done to make it more understandable, but really it just like complicates things when it does not have to.
Let this be an opportunity for people to learn about different cultures and different places in the world, and open eyes to different things you can learn about.
Especially in the 90s when anime like hadn't really caught on yet. So like I feel like now Asian culture has really been embraced a lot recently, but like this was not the case back then. Like a lot of kids probably hadn't seen rice balls, but like you said, it's a good learning opportunity. There were lots of other changes as well. In the original Japanese anime, Jinx, the Pokemon, had black skin. And if you know what Jinx looks like, she has these big lips, and with black skin, she really resembled blackface. I think I talked about this in the Pokemon episode too, but there's a debate over whether this character was intended to be racist or if it was modeled after Ganguru fashion. Ganguru was this fashion trend in Japan in the 90s. Basically, it involved like a lot of really heavy fake tanner and then like a lot of dramatic eye and lip makeup. And I have a picture of Jinx and this Ganguru makeup on the next slide. So Ganguru makeup has also been criticized as being blackface. I don't know a ton about it, but you can definitely see why people would draw that parallel. So for American audiences, Jinx's skin was changed from black to purple. And honestly, even with the purple skin, like it's still definitely towing
debatable.
The line. Yeah. But imagine that with black skin. Like it would definitely read as blackface to American audiences. So whatever their intention was, whether it was to be racist or was like this fashion trend, because the fashion trend was about the same time as this character came out, it would read as inappropriate to American audiences. So she was changed to purple.
Yeah, and it looks so much like a person. Like I feel like a lot of these Pokemon look like complete aliens or animals. Not a lot of them that I've seen look like people, but that is a person.
Yeah, she's definitely supposed to look like a person. And when I was looking at pictures of this fashion style, a lot of them had like bleached blonde hair, which Jinx has. And so like, I don't know. And I'm not trying to defend it because either way, like it's definitely inappropriate, but it's also like Japanese. Like, I don't know that they knew, but it's not great. So it was changed for good reasons.
Yeah.
There's an episode of Pokemon called the Kangaskhan Kid, who I don't remember this episode, but he's basically like a Mowgli type, like Jungle Boy character, and the protagonists run into him. In the US version, he's just like kind of innocent and asks Ash whether they're humans or Pokemon. But this is a change from the Japanese original, where in the original he looks at Misty's boobs and asks to suck the milk out of them, and then the camera zooms in on her chest.
Wow. First dates, man. They're crazy.
It's a wild time. And so like in the American version, this was edited out. And this is also a trend.
I wish they would have kept it and just figured it out.
Can you imagine parents though? Like,
yeah, they're like, I'd like some jelly donuts, please.
I want to suck the jelly out of your donuts. But yeah, and this is like another thing we'll see is a lot of times like American cartoons are a lot more prudish. Like other cartoons in other countries, like they don't care about like sexualization as much. And so like that kind of stuff is dialed way back in the American Virgin. And I think this is a good change. Like Misty is supposed to be a kid. Like I don't think that that's a good thing to have in the cartoon.
Yeah, I don't think that cartoons should just be whatever they are. If it's an adult cartoon, then sure. But if this is
not
towards
an adult
children,
yeah,
then maybe not.
Yeah,
with all that.
That I think is a good change. But there's also like a lot of criticism of localization in general, especially in anime, because, you know, it bastardizes the original art. It gives the viewer an inauthentic experience. And like we already touched on, it can be Eurocentric and even racist, like, you know, implying that things like jelly donuts are somehow superior to rice balls. Mm-hmm. So there's a lot of very legitimate criticism. On the other hand, the other side argues that because of localization, it brought anime into the American mainstream media, and it would not have been so accepted if it hadn't been adapted for American audiences.
Well, is that the goal? Who was that the goal for? You know, I think that matters.
What do you mean, who's that the goal for?
Like, does it matter that anime has become a part of mainstream American pop culture and media?
I think it definitely matters because it's normalized Asian culture and it's like internationalized it. I think it's really important.
Yeah, I think that didn't come out right.
That's okay.
What I'm saying is that like if I don't know, I guess if it was, I don't know what the intentions were for the creators of it. If they wanted to be in American media and for their art to be changed so that they could fit in.
That's kind of the balance. Like, I think these creators are definitely glad they're capitalizing it. They're making a shit ton of money with it being in the United States. But also, like, a lot of people were pissed that their art got changed. And we'll see later on, like in Pokemon, it didn't change the show too much, but for other shows it changed it a lot and like really pissed people off. So it goes both ways. But I mean, we like a lot of people love to consume anime, and like we have localization to thank that it was able to be like start becoming, you know, more mainstream here in the 90s, as early as the 90s.
Can I ask a question?
Yeah.
Were there seriously people that said like they took that as jelly donuts were trying to be superior to rice balls?
Well, I think that's more like the scholarly argument if you're going to like really read into it. It's not like jelly donuts are superior to rice balls, but when you're changing things about the culture or like subbing in the word dollars for yen, it's kind of erasing what the show is intended to be and erasing like what you could take a learning opportunity to learn about another culture, but instead you're just kind of whitewashing it and making it American.
Yeah, I just feel like with that logic, it's like if you're doing a foreign language film and you're dubbing it, then that's doing the same thing.
Well, now you don't really see that so much because now like people can appreciate other cultures a little bit more than we could back in the 90s. And so it's a little bit, I think, easier for people to consume. Whereas, I mean, we've come a long way since the 90s. Like now kids, I think, are a little bit more open-minded, and it could have been open-minded earlier if we hadn't just subbed in the word jelly donuts, you know?
Perhaps.
I don't know. There's a lot of words written about this.
That just
and I'm not an
that
expert
sounded
in any way.
Extreme to me, and I was like trying to think of like a human that would actually think
no, that
jelly
was an
donuts are
example,
superior.
and it definitely like I think it implies that, but. You know, like I don't think anyone intended it to be that way. I don't know. I'm not a professor on this.
Relevant in America, jelly donuts definitely
for sure.
are.
But like I think that kids can learn that that Pokemon is from Japan, and in Japan they eat different food. I don't think that should be a big deal.
I wish they would have done that. I think that that's a perfect encapsulation of localization, and it has so many layers.
Exactly.
to it.
It's very complex. Like that's what I'm trying to say is there's two sides of the coin here where it makes this easier to consume and therefore more widely consumed. And on the other side, like it doesn't preserve the art and it doesn't preserve the culture. Exactly. So we'll kind of go back and forth here a little bit.
Well, I want to fight about it.
Let's fight. So like we've been saying and really driving home, 4Kids started their work in the 90s when Japanese media was pretty niche, but Pokemon and the work of 4Kids is widely credited for the popularity today. Their success did not end with Pokemon. Yu-Gi-Oh! Was another major localization success.
Forgot about Yugioh.
I know, me too. I was never a Yu-Gi-Oh! Kid.
Me either. Just sounds familiar.
It just, to me, I was just like, that's for boys. Like, I didn't want anything to do with it.
Is Yu-Gi-Oh! Those things, those toys that they made too that would like launch off? You'd rip it off of like.
Those are called something else.
Beyblades.
Beyblades, yeah.
Oh, okay.
But that was another anime series that was adapted. But Yu-Gi-Oh! Has like these big monsters. Like, Pokemon were cute. The Yu-Gi-Oh! Monsters aren't cute. So I think that's where I was like, don't care. I liked the cute ones.
My monsters have to be cute. That's the rule.
That's why I liked Pokemon, because Eevee was so cute. In the 90s and 2000s, American cartoons were really concerned with imparting morality on kids. Like, do you remember when you'd watch a cartoon and then at the end of the cartoon, there'd be like a PSA about like, don't bully, or like tell a teacher if like someone's being mean, or like don't do drugs, and it was like the cartoon character telling you that?
No.
Okay.
I don't.
Well, if you don't remember, we can watch a video of Yu-Gi-Oh! Giving American children the don't do drugs talk.
Yeah, I need that because I just watched Secret Life of the American Teenager and
that
went
is
on my way.
not a kid's show. Here's a video that Helena sent me of Yu-Gi-Oh! Doing this.
See, I have it pulled up here. Un momento. I have to find the thing. Sorry for the dead air, y'all.
Yeah, we have a lot of tabs open right now.
We do.
It's a complicated production.
There it is, hiding down way down there. Okay.
All right, here it goes.
Here we go. Let me make sure that's there. Okay.
I know marijuana is harmful. I know it can't improve my game. My friends and I have faced many battles, and we have always dueled without drugs. I wouldn't be the world's best duelist if I smoked marijuana. It would disappoint my friends and lower my concentration.
Well,
And losing control with drugs is one duel I don't want to have.
you don't know that.
I must stay healthy and keep my friends close if I want to defeat my opponent's monsters.
Okay, we can stop
I
it
will
there.
never dishonor myself or my friends by using drugs.
I love
That's
how
playing
it's
the
like
game
I'm
I
also
can't
dishonoring my
honor.
friends.
My anti-drug.
My anti-drug.
That was
I
great.
wish they would have had like a nugget of marijuana and it was just like exploding in the background.
The monster like breathes fire on it, and then they're all coughing. But that was not a part of the original Japanese anime. That was completely added in for American audiences because,
I
yeah,
believe
for
it.
some reason in the early 2000s we had this obsession with morality in kids' cartoons.
war
like
on drugs.
they had to teach a lesson. The war on drugs, yes.
Also, I
know
finished
it
my
well.
White Claw, so fuck you.
Oh shit! She gets the mango. I'm gonna beat her ass. There were other changes similar to this where guns, weapons, and physical fights were edited out in Yu-Gi-Oh! And I have a picture of that too. So here you can see the original. They have guns, and in the American version, they're just pointing their fingers.
Oh my God. That's like kids in my classroom. I'm like, no guns, no guns. And they're like, okay, I know my way around this tray.
It's just a finger.
Yep, it's just a finger, little finger puppet.
It's very American to value fingers over guns.
Right. It's
Just kidding.
Yeah, as if we can't look at that and know what is
in this one they're just
going on.
pointing. I don't know. It's just so ironic that we're taking a cartoon from Japan that has very low gun violence, that has guns, and then taking the guns out for America with a lot of gun
Well,
violence.
it's different because kids in Japan see that and they're like, oh, wow, like they have guns. Like that's really rare. But in America, they would see that and be like, let me go get my dad's pistol from his nightstand drawer.
I guess that's true.
I mean, like I babysat a kid who needed therapy. I will go on the record saying that because he got upset and brought out a gun while I was babysitting.
That's
Jesus
so fucking scary.
Christ.
I never babysat for them again.
Oh, hell no.
But it's so common.
yeah.
And it's so accessible for so many kids.
I know. It's crazy. It's crazy.
It is.
Yeah.
It's scary. It's really fucking scary.
Totally. We need help us. Help us.
Help us,
international
please.
listeners.
Whoever wants to marry me and let my boyfriend come, get us out of here, please.
So it might not seem like such a big deal to take out the guns and replace them with pointing fingers, but a lot of times this had greater consequences on major plot points, especially because the removal of weapons often meant the removal of death, which can be really pivotal in the plot
storyline.
TV show. Yeah.
The existence of someone could change things.
A lot.
Yeah,
a lot.
like
and
their
so
whole life.
They had a lot to grapple with. From my understanding, I don't think that Yugioh was influenced too dramatically by this. I don't think there's a ton of death in the show, but there were other shows that this was a big problem for, especially another show that 4Kids Entertainment took on called One Piece. One Piece was originally a manga series written and illustrated by Ichiro Oda and then later made into an anime series. It stars a boy named Monkey D. Luffy, and he gains the properties of rubber after eating the devil's fruit. And Luffy is joined by a gang of Straw Hat pirates who search the world for the ultimate treasure called One Piece. And I have a picture of One Piece. So it's like a pirate show. It looks really cool. I watched some clips of it. There's a lot of action. And it's just kind of like this ragtag gang of pirates searching for treasure. It's fun. One Piece was super popular in Japan and really well respected for its art and storytelling. So this American production company, 4Kids, figured they'd buy it, dub it over in English, and make a quick, easy buck selling it in the United States. They didn't watch it before they bought it.
Nice.
Yeah.
Love that.
Great
How
choice.
could it go wrong?
Right.
I don't see this going wrong. I haven't really seen anything, so I can't really speak on it, but I can't imagine it goes wrong.
How would they know? They're never going to know.
They're never going to know.
When 4Kids eventually decided to watch the show, after buying it and agreeing to dub it, they quickly realized that they could not show this to an American audience, especially children.
I mean, I don't know what's about to happen, but for them to be like, yeah, no, it's a no for us. How stupid do you have to be? Why would you not even watch it?
It's a show about pirates. You know what pirates do? They
Loot,
drink, kill
murder.
people, murder, rob, and have sex. That's what they do.
If you were to show me a screenshot of South Park, I would like. If that was from another country, yeah, maybe I'd be like, this looks
is for kids.
interesting.
It was basically, I mean, this is an exaggeration, but like, imagine if like Japan had bought South Park without like watching it first, and they're like, we're gonna show this to kids in Japan and just dub it over. Like, that's kind of, I mean, it's not as bad as South Park, but that's
to localize it. I cannot emphasize this enough. You have to localize it.
It needs a little bit of localization.
Just make the pirates the billionaires in America, and it's perfect.
Yeah. So, again, this is a show about pirates. It was super violent, full of weapons, drugs, partial nudity, and alcohol. 4Kids saw this and they wanted out, but they had partnered with a Japanese company called, I don't know how to say this, Toei, who pushed it through. They're like, no, you have to do this. So they had to make some changes. One change they made, they recolored the guns to make them look like squirt guns, and in some cases replaced them with like strange gadgets that they'd just like make up with whatever they could cover the gun with. For example, a spring-loaded hammer. And then this became really complicated because they'd have to like explain what their weapons were.
They're doing like exposition and going through what the bizarre weapon is that they're holding.
It just like made it confusing.
He's like, oh, I'm so glad that you're here from that other ship that I haven't seen in a long while, and now I can show you my spring hammer. My spring, you know what it is. Look at it. You know that this is not a gun.
But it doesn't kill. They changed all the alcohol to juice. They removed all the tobacco products. And the original Sanji the cook was always smoking cigarettes. So in the American version, the cigarette was removed and in its place was a lollipop. So he was always holding a lollipop. And I have a photo of that too. It looks absurd.
They removed it, made it Pepto-Bismol. It was constantly, a lot. Wow. Yes, because that's how we hold lollipops.
Right. Just between your fingers.
And that is a very thick lollipop stick. They should have maybe made the actual candy part of it bigger.
Yeah, it's the ratio
What if
of
it was-
lollipop to stick is a little off.
What if it was still smoking? That's
That actually happened. There were in some scenes still smoke, even though he was holding a lollipop.
good. Good. I'm really happy about that.
It was just like a super lazy job because there was so much that had to be taken out that they were just like, fuck this. Like it can't be done. And like Yugioh, they had to remove all the violence and death. But in a show about pirates, the whole fucking show is violence and death. So it made the show pretty much incoherent and unwatchable. They would splice together episodes to get around things. It just made absolutely no sense. There was this one scene in the original where, I'm sorry. They'd also, go ahead.
Sorry, I was going to say, I was just looking at this picture and I was going to say, of course, it's Cartoon Network.
Right.
I was not a Cartoon Network girl.
Me either. In
It's
my
Nickelodeon.
mind, again, like Cartoon Network was for like dumb boys. I was like, I don't watch that shit. I'm a
Yeah.
Nickelodeon and Disney Channel.
I don't even know what was on
Princess.
Cartoon Network, but I didn't need it.
No,
The
it was
only
not for me.
Reason I watched Cartoon Network was to get to Animal Planet, which was 26.
Oh.
27 was Cartoon Network, and 28 was Nickelodeon.
Okay. 40 was Nickelodeon for me. I think 41 was Cartoon Network, 42 was Disney Channel, and then 43 was Animal Planet.
Wow. Like 70 something was Disney. It was way up there.
Wow, that's weird
Yeah.
that it wasn't all clustered together.
Yeah.
Maybe
I
I'm
didn't-
making that up in my mind.
Maybe
but
that's why I didn't fuck with Disney.
Maybe. I
I
wasn't.
did later on when I had more time to,
Uh-huh.
go through 40 channels.
I wasn't a huge Disney fan. I was definitely mostly Nickelodeon, but I did get really into Hannah Montana at one
Me
point.
too. Yeah, that's what locked me in. And then right after that was Wizards of Waverly Place.
Yep, that was a great show too.
And then that was kind of my outro to Disney as well.
yeah, come to think of it, I think those were the only two Disney Channel shows that I was really
Yeah.
part of.
I fucked with Raven a little bit, but not.
I feel like Raven was
religiously.
before my time.
It was a bit before. Yeah.
Mhm.
Anything I saw was like reruns.
Yeah, but I
Yeah.
probably would have liked it. But yeah, it was really just Hannah Montana and Wizards. Anyway, so in sometimes to get around the violence, they'd have to like make a lot of like excuses and explanations, kind of like the exposition for the weapons. And a lot of times like it wouldn't make sense and it would slow down the show. Like there's this one time where a character takes out a knife and stabs the other one. And they like couldn't take out that scene. So in the dub, it's explained that it's a rubber knife and the person who is stabbed is just being dramatic and pretending to be hurt.
They should have made it his EpiPen.
See, that's a great idea. You should have been a writer on this.
Oh, you
dub.
ate peanuts. I got you, friend. I remember when I was young, my mom has this weird allergy that we don't know what it is, but we know that it puts her into like anaphylactic shock. And she was like, "This is my new EpiPen. It's right here in this special pocket in my purse. If I ever like lay down and can't breathe, you have to punch me in the chest with it."
Oh my God, that's so traumatic.
It's so traumatic. And I couldn't even give my dog who had diabetes the shot. Like,
Yeah.
even with my parents right there, I was like, there's no way. Like, you're going to die, Mom. Like,
Yeah,
I can't-
it's just
I
not
can't.
gonna happen. That's like I have this vague memory. I was probably like 3 or 4 years old. I don't even know if my brother was born yet. But my dad was like working on the heater in our house, like the electrical, and my mom wasn't home. And he hands me the phone, and I'm a baby, and he's like, "If I fall on the floor, you call 911." And I was like, "What?"
That was really dumb.
He was really
him.
placing a lot of trust in a baby.
In a baby. Do you like numerical knowledge does not develop typically until 3 years old.
And I think
maybe
I was
4.
right there. I knew my numbers. I could have done it.
Did
but
you though?
Yeah, I was smart.
Okay.
I was
Were
smart.
you though?
Smart enough. But yeah, what?
That's putting a lot of
crazy
trust.
now that I think about
that's
it.
kind of like borderline. Like, what were you doing?
I had young parents. They had me at 26. They were still figuring it out. I don't blame them.
Me too. We're like soul sisters raised on opposite coasts.
Truly. Decisions were made. Anyway, there's
or not made.
Or not made.
There was things happened and then decisions were made.
In another scene, a character is killed, but in the American version, it's explained that she didn't die. She was just banished to a dungeon
called hell.
Called hell.
And death.
But then they didn't edit out her gravestone later in the episode.
Oh my god. Oh no.
In another scene, the characters are being shot with wooden spikes and they're being like impaled by them. But in the 4Kids version, it's like a poison suction cup and it looks like a plunger.
Okay. I could get with that.
Yeah. Another reason people are like, this dub sucks is because there's a lot of just like really dumb, lazy jokes that were thrown in there for the Americans. For example, quote, "Check out the map, guys. See this? We can dog paddle across, but it's so wide, we better start barking." And boo. And quote, "Your attitude is the pits. Cherry, peach, or apricot." So like it's just really bad, and even the crew was like, this sucks and like we can't keep doing this. So the show ended, or the dub ended about 200 episodes early. There were around 400 episodes in the original Japanese and about 200 in the American dub, and it wasn't even the same episode. Like the episodes didn't line up because they had cut apart original episodes and like smushed them together or cut out episodes entirely. They were just like, we're fucking done. So the show just abruptly ends with a scene where a pirate ship like soars through the air and lands on all the main characters, and you don't even see them get killed. You just see them, like, it's super bizarre. They're just like staring up at the ship screaming, and then the show ends and there's no explanation.
That makes sense. If you're gonna have somebody die or not die, I mean, and then show their gravestone, but then have people actually die, why would you show their gravestone?
Right. It's just like,
everything is upside down world.
It's just so random. And like the entire show is them searching for the treasure, and I don't think they ever get the treasure. It's just like, oh, now they're dead. Like the end.
I think the moral, I mean, there are a lot of morals, I think, in this story. But for what I'm taking away is that we were truly blessed to grow up with SpongeBob.
We could have grown up with One Piece. We could have watched that too had we been Cartoon Network kids.
That would have never happened. Not on my watch.
No, ma'am. I was above that. Anyway, for all these reasons and more, the Americanized version of One Piece is disgraced and considered one of, if not the worst dubbing job ever. People hate it. It's become kind of like a cult classic with people just like loving to shame it. And it's like actually like really sad because the original is supposed to be super good, but the American version is just like they ruined it.
Yeah.
Another widely criticized localization job is Sailor Moon. Sailor Moon is a manga series that was adapted into an anime by Toei Animation and later licensed for English language release by Kangaskhan Comics. Sailor Moon is widely loved and respected around the world. According to howchu.com, it's the 10th highest grossing anime series at $14.3 billion, even above Naruto. Billion. Unfortunately, though, when this amazing series was adapted for North American audiences, many parts of the show that made it so great were censored, especially its depiction of LGBTQ plus relationships.
The writers are like, are we bad at capitalism?
Are we just bad people? The answer is yes.
Bad people?
In the Japanese version, Sailor Neptune and Sailor Uranus were in a lesbian relationship. Are you laughing that Sailor Uranus was in a lesbian relationship?
No, just Uranus is really what did it for me.
Did that get lost in translation? I wonder what Uranus is in Japanese.
I don't know. But in the American...
With an apostrophe. YOU''RE. You are anus.
You are anus. I get it. In the American version, the two refer to each other as cousins. But this is like really confusing because cousins don't usually act like a couple and hold hands and stare into each other's eyes.
Where did it take place?
Like they just changed the Japanese version to be in Alabama.
Yeah, like this makes sense now. Well, now that you say it's in Alabama,
it's localization. It makes sense.
We do what we have to do without compromising the bones of the show.
Right.
That's what we do.
In other English dubs outside of the United States, their relationship was preserved, so they were in a relationship, but Sailor Uranus was dubbed using a male voice actor and presented as a male.
Boo.
So it was still a heterosexual relationship, only they didn't change her animation. They're just like, this is a boy.
We've had enough of the heterosexual relationships.
We have. But like it's really funny because in trying to be heteronormative and be like they're in a het relationship, like this woman is just like a boy, so like it kind of looks like she's cross-dressing or trans because she'll go in like the boy quote unquote will like become a Sailor Scout, and when like the character looks pretty androgynous normally, so like they could pass for a boy, but when they become a Sailor Scout, they're super feminine and like wear a skirt and stuff. So it's just like this, like you're not doing what you think you're doing.
The writers are like, we get you. We understand.
It's just so stupid. It's just like they're jumping through all these hoops for no reason. Along the same lines, the character, and I'm sorry if I butcher this, Zoocyte is a gay man who is lovers with another male warrior, but in English, that person is dubbed as a straight woman. So again, they're doing that weird thing. Along the exact same lines, in Sailor Moon, there's a character called Fisheye who's a man who sometimes dresses as a woman. But in the English dub, Fisheye is given a female voice actor and presented as an anatomical female.
An anatomical female?
Or like a born
like a robot?
Like assigned female at birth.
Oh.
Like,
okay.
Like a robot.
I'm sorry. I thought you said
A mechanical animatronic.
Animatronic, yeah, that's really dumb of me. I do.
She was an animatronic female.
That's what I thought you
Oh my god, an animatronic. No. This male character is basically, they're like, they did the same thing. They're like, this is a woman. Only Fisheye sometimes walks around topless, even though he, like, because he's a man, but like, now he's supposed to be a woman, and they edited out a lot of the scenes where it's a he in the real one. He's topless, but like not all of them were able to be cut. So like again, it's just confusing, and also like being the opposite of prude. Like now there's a woman who's topless, which like fine, but like I don't think they wanted that. That wasn't the goal. Just very strange. Like other shows, the English dub of Sailor Moon cut out violence, drunkenness, and nudity. They also Americanized things like characters' names. They removed Japanese writing and referred to yen as dollars and so on. So they just kind of like changed a lot to make it more American. They also like they even reversed traffic scenes, so it looked like the cars were driving on the right side of the road.
Oh wow.
But like this wasn't great because then it made all the street signs backwards. They just flipped it around. Quick trigger warning for eating disorders. Just skip literally like 15 seconds. The American dub did one positive thing by editing the episode that was originally titled, quote, Usagi will teach you how to lose weight. In that episode, in the original, Sailor Moon gains some weight and becomes obsessed with losing it. The original script basically has people telling her that all she needs to do is starve herself and she'll lose weight.
Yeah, American pop culture is like, we feel seen. America to cut that.
It's just like, yeah, they cut it. And in the English dub, it gives advice like, you don't have to starve yourself, just cut out junk food. So like they're still telling her, a child, to lose weight. So like it's still definitely problematic. I guess
cut out junk food, but also we're not gonna make non-junk food easily accessible to most of the population.
Yeah, they didn't tackle the issue of food deserts and food stamps, but like they made it, I guess, slightly better than the original, but also not really. I guess they sort of tried. In all, Sailor Moon's alterations were allegedly done to make her more appealing for American audiences and avoid conflicts with homophobic parents who didn't want their kids seeing LGBT plus relationships. That's why it was done. I mean, it sucks and it shouldn't have been done, but Sailor Moon also wouldn't have been shown on networks. Like, I don't know exactly what it was on, but like Cartoon Network without that being cut out. So like, it again helped to bring it to the mainstream, but at what cost, you know?
Yeah.
It's just really unfortunate.
What do you mean at what cost?
Editing out LGBT relationships.
Oh, I thought you were still on the eating disorder.
No. No, I'm just speaking generally now. Sorry if that was unclear.
I was like, good God, Kat.
No. That should have been edited out. That episode should have been completely deleted, in my opinion. I mean, I haven't seen it, but I think I know enough to say that shouldn't be being shown to kids. But, you know, all the other stuff, like, yeah, it helped bring it to wider audience, but also, like, it took out a part of the show that was, like, really made it special and important. Obviously, what?
Like guns and cigarettes.
I'm not talking about that anymore.
Oh, no, I'm
talking
just
about Sailor Moon.
at all the different things that have been swapped.
Oh, it's very complicated.
It's very complicated.
Yeah.
Like,
this is not a black and white issue.
Right.
That's why I don't have an argument. I'm trying to present all sides.
Right. I kept interpreting you doing these big summaries as like summarizing the whole and not just the last lesson of Sailor Moon.
I'm just really trying to cover all my bases because this is such a hotly debated topic, and I'm not knowledgeable enough to have a strong argument. So I'm just trying to give everyone the information they need to have a taste.
Sorry if I sounded inappropriate. I was misinterpreting it yet again.
No, and I'm glad that if my words could have been misinterpreted, we cleared it up. Obviously, the whitewashing of the show and removing all valuable LGBTQ plus representation outraged fans of Sailor Moon, and it has since been redubbed for American audiences, sticking to the original script. So that's a win. But yeah, so like for a long time, you couldn't see the original in English, which is kind of a bummer. But now you can, so that's good.
Because the internet.
Because the internet. Localization does not just apply to children's TV shows, nor is it a one-way street. A lot of localization is taking United States media and spreading it to other places.
I would like to see how it's changed for other places.
We're going to. So here's where I become a little bit of a list bitch. And now I have some funny attempts at localization in advertising. In the 60s and 70s, Pepsi had a campaign slogan called "Come Alive, You're the Pepsi Generation." It was really a successful ad campaign in the United States. But when it was localized to China and translated to Mandarin and Cantonese, the slogan said, "Pepsi brings your ancestors back from the dead."
Oh, no.
And in German, it said "Rise from the grave with Pepsi."
Well,
so not
I
quite.
relate to that. So
That's true. Sometimes when I don't have coffee, I have to drink a Diet Coke, which I would drink a Pepsi if I didn't have Diet Coke.
Ever since I did that lesson on Coke versus Pepsi, whenever I hear Pepsi Generation, I think of Michael Jackson singing, "You're the Pepsi Generation."
Oh my God, I forgot about that.
I did too.
When KFC expanded their franchise to China, their slogan, "Finger licking good," translated to "Eat your fingers off." Despite that, they're still the #1 fast food chain in China. So worked out.
Nice.
The Got Milk campaign could not run their slogan in Mexico because it would have translated to "Are you lactating?" In Japan, the Honda Fit is called the Honda Fitta. In 2001, Honda launched the Honda Fitta in Sweden. Only in Swedish, Norwegian, and Dutch, Fitta is a slang word that means pussy. And they had to change the name after its release to the Honda Jazz.
What? These oversights seem
I
so
know.
simple.
You'd think like all you have to do is run it by one native speaker.
just check.
Yeah, just
Just be like,
double check.
this translates, right?
Apparently they don't.
Apparently not.
Yeah, apparently not. The Ford Pinto had to be renamed in Brazil because in Portuguese, pinto means tiny penis. In 1996, Matsushita and Panasonic were developing a touchscreen computer that was to be named after a cartoon character, Woody Woodpecker. This was until they realized that translated to English, their ad read, "Touch Woody, the internet pecker."
I wish they would.
I know, me too.
I wish they would.
They changed the product name from Touch Woody to Woody Touchscreen. That made it like a little bit better. It was too late to fully rebrand it.
Yeah.
Still not great. Gerber baby food failed in France and Quebec because Gerber sounds like a French slang word for vomit, and baby food looks like vomit, so it's just very unappealing.
Yeah, that's just too close.
Too close. And then finally, I want to end on some localization examples from Disney and Pixar movies. So my first one, and I have a photo of this, is in Zootopia, the newscaster animal changes based on the release country. So you can see in the US, Canada, and France, you have a white leopard and a moose. In China, there's a panda bear. In Brazil, there's a jaguar. Japan has, is that a beaver? I think it's a beaver. And in Australia, there's a koala. So that's kind of fun.
Okay, so it's like just common.
It's like a local animal.
Yeah.
I don't think Japan has beavers.
But
What?
that has a tail like a beaver. Or is that the chair? It might be.
No, it's not
Oh,
the
maybe.
Is it a
chair.
raccoon?
That's weird. Yeah, maybe it is a beaver.
Maybe it's an animal we don't know.
Maybe. I don't know. I should have looked this up. In my mind, I was just like, oh, that's a beaver. But you're right. It doesn't really look like one.
But then I was like, maybe he's in a wicker chair. But then like that's
Mhm.
the chair. The red is the chair.
Yeah. Yeah, I don't know what that is, actually. I will try to figure that out. In
Trash panda.
Trash panda. In Brazil, the word
Woo, sorry, I messed up the
shut
slides.
up. Just kidding.
Oh my God. I was
In
trying to get your slides back on track.
Thank you. In Brazil, the word coco means poop. So the name of the movie and Mama Coco's name had to be changed. In Inside Out.
That makes me think of cocoa melon, which is, do you know what that is?
Yeah.
Poop
melon. It probably goes by a different name in Brazil.
Yeah.
In Inside Out, the dad daydreams about hockey, and you can kind of like see his thought bubble. And you can see in the released version in the US, Canada, and Russia, it's hockey, but everywhere else, his daydream is about soccer. And there's a photo of that as well. See, there's the difference.
Cool.
Yeah. Also in Inside Out, baby Riley refuses to eat broccoli, but in the Japanese version, she refuses to eat green peppers because that's like the stereotypical vegetable that kids don't like in Japan.
Really?
And
I
I have a
didn't
photo
know
of that
broccoli
too.
was the stereotypical food that kids don't like.
In the United States, it's like, ew, broccoli.
I
You
didn't
didn't
know
know that?
Did you know that broccoli is a man-made vegetable?
What? Really?
Yeah, really.
Well, like, aren't all vegetables like
This
man-made?
broccoli is derived from cauliflower. I forget what year, but like within the last century.
Wow,
Yeah.
that's interesting.
I know.
Within the last century?
Yes. Yeah.
That's crazy.
I know.
Thank God someone made cauliflower delicious. I hate cauliflower.
I fucking love broccoli.
I love broccoli. I hate cauliflower.
Cauliflower is good when you make it to be like vegetarian chicken.
Yes, I like buffalo cauliflower wings when it's breaded and fried. It's delicious.
Yeah,
But any other
that's
time,
like
it's just
anything.
like flavorless and watery.
Yeah, I'm not going for just raw not broccoli.
Raw
I
cauliflower.
mean, broccoli and cauliflower. Not going for it raw.
No, but I love broccoli. And then one last one. In Italy, Moana had to be retitled Oceana because there's a famous adult film actress named Moana in Italy. It'd be like
Get the
naming it
kids
like
and the
Mia
parents.
Khalifa. Yeah. So, like we've been talking about, localization is very complicated. On one hand, it can make content more relatable to its audience, but it can also be Eurocentric and runs the risk of diluting the original message of the art. It's important to look at all media we consume with a critical lens. So, thank you so much, Helena, for bringing this to our attention.
So much. This has been such an interesting topic to hear about and learn about. I've never thought about it
I know, me either.
at
'Cause
all.
You watch a dub and you're like, okay, like I'm getting the show, but in reality, a lot of times you're not. And even like shows that are subtitled, they're still run through someone who's translating it. The message is oftentimes changed. So it's really important that we're aware of that. And I also want to thank Helena for giving me so much of this information. She sent me a lot of links and sources that really helped me out. I super appreciate it. Thank you so much. The best Patreon lessons are when the Patreon does all of the work. So thank you. Also, I need to cite my sources. So I have the dubbing Wikipedia page, 4Kids Entertainment Wikipedia page, japanpowered.com article called The Legacy of 4Kids Entertainment by Chris Kincaid, CBR.com, GameRant.com, TerribleTVShows.mirahees.org, Sailor Moon Wikipedia, ScreenRant.com, a Gengo.com article by Jenny Gabriel, Phase.com, LanguageConnections.com, BoardPanda.com, and HowChew.com. I had a lot of sources this week.
Yeah, you really did. Nailed it on the sources.
Thank y'all.
Out of the park with
Thank
the lesson.
you. I did my research.
Yeah, you sure did. And so did Helena. So
Thank you, Helena. I owe it all to you. So thank you guys. And take it away, Hayley.
Well, I'm going to take it away to the restroom, actually, because I
shit.
need to use it real quick, guys. I'm sorry. All right, welcome back, everybody. Took a little restroom break after that exhilarating roller coaster of a ride
So
that lesson
exhilarating,
was.
so suspenseful.
Snip, snap, snip, snap. I don't know which side to be on, but you don't have to be on any side, I think. You just need to know.
Just educate yourself.
Or let us educate you. Okay, well, let's get this show on the motherfucking road. I'm going to teach us today about the first ever sex shop
Yay.
and how it came to be.
Sweet. I'm excited.
And really, it's just the story of someone's life. Okay? So, Beate Rottenberg, Rottermund, later in life.
Rottenburg.
I have no idea. I just can't read. Rottenberg. She was born October 25th, 1919 in St. Gallen, East Prussia, which is now Zelenogratsk, Russia. And she was the baby of the family. She had 2 older siblings. Her father was a farmer, and her mom was a girl boss bitch doctor, one of the very first female doctors in Germany.
Boss babe.
Beate would follow in her mother's footsteps to be a trailblazer, you know, for a female. That's not my belief. That's just like how the framing of her entire life. But anyone who knew, I don't know if it's Beate or Beate. I'm not sure.
I don't know.
I'm just going to change it every time. Just cover all of my bases.
One of them's bound to be right, but probably not.
I thought it was Beet because it spelled Beate.
Maybe like
And then it was like Beatty.
Betty.
It's
Beatty?
not Betty. It's definitely
Beate.
Beate. You're
I'm not Prussian.
Yeah, but
Actually, I
you're
am
close.
Prussian.
Yeah.
Distantly. I don't speak German. It would have been they spoke German.
Yeah.
I don't know.
I don't know either. I'll just call her Beet.
Beet.
No. Beate would anyone who knew her knew that she was going to do big things. From the time she was young, she was just a firecracker. Her older brother told her of the myth of Icarus, the one who flies too high and catches a flame. And she was fascinated, so much so that she apparently gathered chicken feathers and glued them to some like makeshift wings and would like jump off of shit in the family's backyard and their farm.
Remember being stupid? Like as a kid, I thought I was
currently
I would
existing.
dig holes on the playground thinking I was like gonna make an underground system of burrows and like play in it. Like, I was so stupid. Or like thinking you can like fly.
Oh, I thought if I could just run fast enough, I could fly.
Yeah.
I don't know what was holding me back.
Or did you ever
'Cause
watch
I ran fast a lot.
Did you ever watch the Chris Angel episode where he floats, like he hovers?
No.
And he's just like, you just have to like really focus. And
Yes,
so I was
did.
like, if I focus hard enough, I can float.
What was he actually doing?
I have
How
no
did he
idea.
do that?
I don't know.
Because that was my mindset. And after in like 7th grade, I read The Secret and I just thought that I could do anything. I was like, if I just focus hard enough, my parents won't get divorced.
Oh
No. If I just focus hard enough, gas will be lower than $4.
If I just focus hard enough, I won't have to use this EpiPen on my mom.
As an adult, I'm like, I wonder why I have anxiety. And then I look back at my entire life and I'm like,
It makes
oh.
so much sense. Yeah.
Thankfully, it seems like Beate, Beet, Betty, whatever. She had almost no worries. An important thing to note is that her parents never shied away from speaking to their children about sex, gender, sexuality. They tended to just discuss these topics openly as a family. Later on in life, she said that it was really easy to learn about these things living on a farm. This is a direct quote. She said, "We had 140 cows. The bulls climbed on top of the cows, and sometime later a calf appeared. So we experienced sexual contacts in a nature totally different to that which town children knew."
That's true.
Yeah, it is true. Well,
Or all you have to do is own a dog and watch it humping everything.
oh my gosh, the amount of pillows that got impregnated in our house by our dachshund.
It's crazy.
Criminal, truly.
Someone call the ASPCA.
And he would rip the tag off the mattress.
What? Call 911 for that.
Somebody come get him. So Beate's parents did their best to expose her to everything in life and to really make sure that was my white claw falling because I talk with my hands if you heard that in the background. But they wanted to really lean into her wild side and her interests the best that they could. She attended a progressive boarding school called School am Meer and Odenwald School, where she graduated. And when she graduated, she was 16. She went to England and she ended up learning English. She worked as an au pair for a year. And her parents, after that year, were like, okay, come on back to get your proper education in home economics so you can be a good housewife like you're destined to be. And she's like, okay, I'm going to come home. I'm going to go to school, but I don't know about all this home economic stuff because she was still fascinated by the myth of the Icarus and she was so interested in flying. She wanted to be a pilot so fucking bad. And one time during a trip to Berlin, her father met this lecturer. He was lecturing on motorsports from the German Aero Club, and they got to talking. And Beate's father is like, oh my God, you would not believe my daughter. She has dreams. She has ambition. She wants to be a pilot. She's flying crazy. And this lecturer, Mr. Sackenberg, was woke as fuck. And he was like, no, you suck. You're not letting her have her dreams and have her ambitions. And it's not nonsensical to have a female pilot. And he was so excited by the idea that he sent Beate, 17 at the time now, information and pamphlets and things like that on how to obtain her pilot's license.
Cool.
I know, right? I'm like, man, for such, talking to your kids about sex and stuff early on and whatnot, like, why not talk to them about being a pilot?
I know. And it's weird, like, even today, like, I had parents who never would have discouraged me from anything based on gender, but, like, I never felt like being a pilot was something I could do. Like, it just didn't seem like something that was, like...
Yeah,
there's those invisible barriers still even now. Like, imagine back then. Yeah.
Totally. And that's something I would love to learn how to fly. And that's something that I've even said before, but it's always been like, oh, well, it's very expensive or you can't do it because of this reason or that reason. And it's not the same, but my brother is working his way to get his skydiving license.
Yeah.
And that is also expensive. And not one time have I heard, oh, it's very expensive. Oh, you have to pay hundreds, if not thousands of dollars. And the equipment is $2,000. It was none of that. It was like, oh, great. When will it be done?
Yeah, yeah. It's weird how we have these, like, limiting beliefs, like, because, like, that our parents tell us as kids, like, oh, it's too expensive. And then you're an adult and you can afford it. And you're still like telling yourself the same things that you're used to, like, oh, it's too expensive, you can't have this. When you can.
You can. And our grown-ups who raised us and were around us probably aren't even registering that as them projecting a limiting belief.
Yeah, and I mean it's probably true in most cases. Like you could not just put your kid in like pilot school for fun. Like that I imagine that flying lessons cost over $100 per session.
Oh,
like
I'm
that's
sure.
very expensive. But like
it
you could
doesn't
do it
just
someday.
have to be end of conversation.
Yeah.
That's very expensive.
Yeah,
we should research. I wonder if there are grants. Like, how have other people done it?
Totally.
If I'm ever a parent, I hope to do shit like that. But it sounds like a lot of work.
Yeah.
So she talks her parents' ear off, and I'm not talking about myself. The third person, Beate, talks her parents' ears off about getting her pilot's license. And after a year, they finally give in to her request, and they send her to a pilot school near Berlin. On her 18th birthday, she received her pilot's license, and the next year, she passed her stunt pilot exam and even started competing in races, which she won most of them, second place, if not first place. She was an unstoppable flying force from that moment she got her license. She worked as a test pilot, a delivery pilot, and eventually a stunt double pilot in films. And Beate fell in love with her stunt piloting instructor, Hans-Jürgen Use, but refused to marry him for the longest time because she was like, I can't marry you and be a female pilot. I know that the minute I marry you, my career and my ambitions are going to be crushed by outside like society. Really.
Yeah, they're gonna say like she only has this because she's married to that guy.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
So she rejects his multiple proposals, and it's just because she didn't want to give up flying to become a housewife. Eventually, he wore her down and she agreed to get married. But as soon as she agreed, her father was like, no, 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 no. And he refused to bless the union for another year. So they've been in love for some time now, but they just can't seem to get married. And finally, after a year of her father disagreeing, Beate and Hans were like, screw it, we're tired of waiting. Who is that?
It was a spam risk calling me, so I hung up on it.
Okay, thank you. Thank God.
Yeah.
They were tired of waiting, and they arranged a wedding for that October. But before they could have their formal wedding, World War II broke out.
God damn it.
It
So
always
inconvenient.
happens at the most inconvenient times. People are trying to get married here. Hans was posted, so they had to cancel the formal wedding. They married 4 hours before Hans had to leave for duty. So they got married, and then he was off. So with her husband away, stunt piloting jobs were non-existent during the war. It was like, all the pilots were out piloting
fighting
shit.
in the war.
So Beate was feeling down and out, but she did end up getting a job with a, God damn it, I should have looked up this pronunciation too. She ended up getting a job with the Luftwaffe.
Definitely not that.
Luftwaffe?
No, there's the W is a V.
Luftwaffe.
Luftwaffe.
Liftoff. She got a job with them, who I don't have a clear answer, but it seems like they were, probably flying under the Nazi regime.
Definitely, she's Prussian. That's German.
Yeah. I just didn't want it to be true,
Yeah,
but I looked them up on
mean-
Wikipedia, and there's the swastika in their symbol.
For sure.
So
Yeah. That's
I was like,
the reality.
damn it.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So Hayley is glorifying a Nazi. Right?
I'm glorifying sex shops. We will get to the sex shops parts, but you should know about this woman who opened up the first sex shop in the world.
It's interesting. It's not like we're being like, this is a flawless person. That's
Definitely not.
It's a
Yeah.
history lesson.
It is. It is. So she flew for them. She worked in an aircraft fairing unit. She was able to fly aircraft she never would have been able to fly with her typical pilot or stunt piloting license. And she was hoping that she could just take this experience and have a normal career as a pilot while also being female. Turns out she did get knocked up. In October 1944, her son Klaus was born. And Beate was actually able to continue flying while also being a mother, which is pretty rare. The German military, the Luftwaffe, allowed her to hire a nanny because she was considered vital to the war effort. About a year after her son was born, her husband died in an air crash, and she was widowed at 24 years old.
Jesus, I didn't realize she was that young.
Yeah.
Can you
super
imagine?
young.
Like, that's our age. She's already
Ew,
done
it
all
is.
this stuff.
That never occurred to me right now.
That's crazy.
24 years old. She's married, stunt pilot, fighting in the army, piloting, has a son, doing all this stuff, is now widowed. Yeah, at 24 years old.
Yeah, when people our age are divorced, I'm like, wow, that's wild. She's a widow. That's
Full
even
on.
wilder.
Yeah. Why be a widow when you could be a spinster? I don't get it. That's funny to me. Why be a widow?
Why be a widow? They
When you
shouldn't
could be a
choose to be a
spinster.
widow.
Well, she chose to get married.
That's true. She brought it on herself.
Not long after her husband's death, Berlin was surrounded by Soviet forces, and the city was ravaged. Beate made her way eventually through the decrepit city, like it was all destroyed, and she found her house. She was looking for her son and her nanny because they were there at the house, and she was able to find them. They were both injured, and she somehow gets them to the nearest airport where her unit is waiting for her, for them to leave. They're trying to go to Britain, I think, and they're just trying to get out of the city. But when she got herself, her son, who's like a year old, and her nanny to the airport, her unit had already left. So Beate did what anyone would do and found a small airplane that was unattended, just getting fueled up. She quickly studied the manual and took off with her son and her nanny in this little passenger plane.
She wants to be a Nazi until they lose, and now she wants to go to Britain.
What a fucking
What a
weather
bitch.
fan.
Yeah.
Jesus.
That's how it goes.
Thankfully, her son and her nanny were okay. They settled in Flensburg, herself and her son, and her pilot career never went beyond that final flight of flying to Flensburg. And she just had to figure something else out. Excuse me. Beate started selling items door to door. Some sources say the items were from the black market. Some sources say they were buttons and children's toys.
Could be both.
Yeah, why not both?
I mean,
if
it's
you're
post-war, like, wasn't everything the black market?
yeah, you might as well sell what you got because it probably was both. Nonetheless, with her sales came a lot of conversations with people, and relationships were built on what she was selling. And she got a glance into people's lives. She was really surprised and also concerned with all of these people she talked to who shared a common problem. Soldiers were returning home from war, their wives were getting pregnant, and they were really concerned for their future and their child's future because at this point in time, there was no good foundation to raise a child for a lot of people. A lot of men were out of jobs and they didn't know what to do, having fallen pregnant. Many women got abortions from non-professionals or just had such anxiety around raising a child in a post-World War II world that they're like, what are we going to do? And how do we manage this? Like, I don't want to get pregnant, but I want to bone my husband. I don't know how to balance my desires.
Right. Well, I mean, there's got to be some kind of solution.
Be a spinster. But Beate was like, oh, I know exactly what to do, because her parents had actually talked to her and her siblings about sex and about contraception.
She had watched the bulls using the pull-up method, and she's like, I got a solution.
They just slathered their dicks in thick honey. They got stung by bees a lot. But thankfully,
It was worth it.
When they were at capacity for the little calves, they knew what to do.
Yeah, they did not. They were able to only bring in enough children that they could comfortably provide for.
The post-war farm was a very sophisticated community. Beate remembered the sex talks her family had. She researched the calendar contraception method a little bit further than what she already knew, and she took matters into her own motherfucking hands. She created an informational brochure that taught women how to track their periods and how to identify their fertile and infertile days. This was super helpful since the Nazis banned contraception and erased any remnants of the calendar contraception method.
Wait, is she? Where is she right now?
She's in Flensburg.
Where's that?
I think it's in Britain. That's a good question. I should have had more questions.
Flensburg. I mean, it sounds English. That's what I assumed she was in Britain, but I wasn't sure.
She was in Britain, but then because she had learned English there, so she went there, but then she did come back to Germany.
Right, but then didn't she escape at the end of the war?
She ended up in Flensburg, which
Right.
is in Germany.
Yeah, Bergs are not English.
Well, BERG.
BURG.
BURG is German. BERG is English, right?
Yeah. She ended up in Germany.
Okay.
After
yeah.
things settled down.
Okay.
I don't have an exact date on that. My apologies.
Oh, you're good.
But she did end up in Germany,
Okay,
which is where the pamphlets went out at.
Gotcha.
She did go to Britain and settled in Flensburg. That's a great question. Thank you for
You're
that.
welcome. Sorry, I wasn't
great
trying
question,
to be a bitch, but I was just trying to get a picture of
Sometimes
the
you don't
environment.
have to try.
I mean, Germany directly after World War II is a very different place than Britain.
Totally.
Directly
Yeah.
after World War II. I was just trying to
Absolutely.
understand.
That makes sense. Me too. Honestly, at this point, me too. She is in Germany. And so she makes this pamphlet to help educate people just because she's like, I see a problem. I want to help solve it because I have this knowledge from pre-war and a lot of it has been erased throughout the war. So in exchange for 5 pounds of butter, a local printer agreed to produce 2,000 copies of her Text X or Pamphlet X, which she sold for 2 Reichmarks a piece. She sold 32,000 copies of Pamphlet X within months.
Oh my God.
And she's like, I'm going to get this bag.
And all it was like you have to count the days after your period.
Mm-hmm.
Damn,
Yeah,
I wish
she
I
just-
lived back then. I'd make so much money.
Advise people how to not have babies and track their period.
Dang.
But they didn't know that. All of that had been erased and outlawed in
Yeah.
Nazi Germany.
It's crazy.
So she really is a weather fan. She's playing both sides. But she was amazed at the number of letters she received asking her about sexuality and eroticism. She couldn't believe how many people didn't know about the basics of sex. Soon she began selling condoms and marriage guides as well, and business just kept on growing. She was slinging books. She was slinging pamphlets on marital hygiene. She eventually met a man named Ernst Walter Rotermund on a nudist beach in 1949. They got married, had 2 children together, so she has a little bit of her own marital hygiene. In 1962, by this point, she was a millionaire.
Jesus, really?
Yeah.
Wait, so we fast forwarded like 15 years though.
Yeah, 15 years. Yeah, she's done well for herself,
Okay.
just on the basic foundations of sex and
Yeah.
knowing about it and knowing how to make kids and how to not make kids and how to protect yourself.
It's so crazy. Like, this is basic knowledge
Now
But back
it
then,
is.
like, people probably didn't even know, like, that you could pull out.
I was telling my mom, she called me today. She's like, "What's your lesson about?" And I was telling her about how, just everything. I gave her a synopsis and she's like, "Oh, I think I've heard this story before." And I was like, "Oh, I mean, well, you may have heard it in the news because they're trying to like cancel abortions and contraceptives in so many states."
Yeah.
But
And
that's
did your mom
another
have
thing.
anything to say to that?
Oh no, I mean, we know what news station she watches, and it rhymes with box. So,
Ironically, it rhymes with box.
Pun intended. It's not a pun. Rhyme intended. I just have to fit those in there wherever I can. Back to the lesson. She gets married. They have 2 children together. She's a millionaire, and she opens up her own store, her specialty store for marital hygiene, which specialized in sexuality, making it the first ever sex shop in 1962.
Are we sure that this is the first, like, worldwide?
If you Google first sex shop, this is it.
Wow.
And I was shocked too.
Yeah, that seems like
That's
I
not to say,
imagine-
sex toys,
Right.
and that go way back.
Right. I imagine all around the world people have been selling like goods for sex, but like modern sex shop as we know it.
Yeah,
this is-
modern worldwide sex shop. This is it. She cautiously named it, quote, "The Institute for Marital Hygiene."
The Institute. I'm gonna name Night Classy the Institute for an Educational Podcast.
The Institute for Drunken Education.
Right, and it gives it credibility. That you don't need anything to back it up.
Yeah.
It's an institute.
The Institute for Haphazard Education. And just having the shop open was a constant uphill battle. The police were constantly raiding this place. By 1992, the shop and herself, Beate, had been indicted more than 2,000 times.
Jesus. What was she selling in there?
Exactly what they sell in sex shops today.
Was it like contraceptives and pamphlets, or was it like dildos and harnesses?
It was dildos, it was
Okay.
contraceptives, it was tapes.
Okay.
Like, as the sexual attitudes of the culture evolved,
right.
she did too, but also her shops influenced people's comfortability with expressing themselves sexually. She never lost a single case. All 2,000 times she was taken to court, she won. And I mean, there are plenty of organizations that discriminated against her and her shop, but nothing stopped this bitch. She opened up the Beate Erotic Museum in Berlin.
She's like, "Oh, you don't like my shop? Now how about you look?
How
at
about my
everything I
dick?"
have?" Yeah. Just slaps her dildo on the table. It's huge.
Yeah,
Like,
she
how about a
does
museum?
not care. And people loved it and hated it. In 1999, the company was the first sex goods company listed on the German stock exchange. They were very successful. The original stock certificates you can see right behind you are extremely valuable today, and they depict
wow.
several scantily clad women.
It's amazing that it's a stock certificate and it has like strippers on it.
I know.
I love it.
Like, she's fully
It's an official
nude.
document. That's
There's
her?
There's
her?
a picture of her holding it. If you
Oh.
go back one, Alec. Oh, I guess I may have uploaded it. If you Well, we have a picture of her holding one of them. You'll get to see a picture of her.
Okay.
She has a bowl cut. She's probably not what you're expecting.
Okay,
her.
I thought you were saying that was her.
No.
I was like, wow, she's hot.
No, that is definitely not her.
Oh, that's what I was picturing.
Yeah.
She looks like a sweet old German lady.
She, from what I
who
understand,
owns a sex
is-
shop and used to be a Nazi. She's
It's
complicated.
your run of the mill.
Yeah.
There's layers. Despite pushback from conservatives, Beate's chain spread through Germany and successfully sold toys, lingerie, tapes, contraceptives. She actually also established the first all-sex TV channel in Germany.
Wow.
And she staunchly dismissed her critics, saying on her 70th birthday that as she was awarded the Order of Federal Republic of Germany, quote, with my underwear and sugar-coated pills, with creams and juices, with confectionery and condoms, I have managed to patch up millions of broken marriages over the years. It's all about the marriage.
She's got
with
a
this
whole
one.
arsenal. Yeah, she really driving home the marriage point.
Let's just have sex and not worry about labels,
Right.
lady.
But I mean, she's got to stay out of prison, I assume.
I mean, for many reasons.
Yeah.
Yeah. She's got to stay out of prison.
Yeah.
Unfortunately, the company did declare bankruptcy in 2017.
What? Is she still
Yes.
alive?
She's not. Fortunately, she died in 2001 before she saw them declare bankruptcy. The business was still booming. It seems that it ultimately came down to them not adapting to online sales.
Well,
But-
they just they're only selling this stuff to married people, so that cuts into
Married
a lot of-
bitches only. That should be their new
no
website.
spinsters.
So that is the tale and the woman behind the very first official modern sex shop.
Wow.
My
That's
sources,
crazy.
It's something.
Yeah.
My sources are Wikipedia, The Guardian, Yahoo Finance, and DW.com. I would have had more sources, but all of them were in German. So
That makes it difficult.
yeah, none of them were localized.
Yeah, and it makes sense why we haven't heard about her before, because she's obviously clearly not the best person working for the Nazis. But it's also complicated. It sounds like as a woman you don't have a lot of options, and I'm not trying to show her any sympathy because she was a Nazi. But it's a complicated story, and she
In researching her, I ran across two other women who were in their Air Force, if you will, who actively spoke out against the Nazis, but were doing their jobs because they had been pilots.
right. And yeah,
And it's complicated.
it is certainly complicated. Not to show her any admiration or anything like that, but it's interesting. The way being a woman and then this intertwine. It's an interesting thing for someone smarter than I to study and write about.
Oh, yeah.
Many people have.
I wish I could understand German, at least read it, so I could read more about her. When I was
I'm
maybe
drooling
someone
on my
has
hand.
done a YouTube video on her, and I searched her name, but her name is also the name of this company, so it's just all videos demonstrating
A sex
toys.
products.
Yeah.
Oh my gosh. I wonder, it'd be interesting to see photos of how all of this evolved, because they didn't go from pamphlets to giant 12-inch vibrators all overnight. I'd like to see the evolution.
Yeah, that would be really cool. The pictures that when I looked it up, it was mostly just pictures of her and that stock market certificate. And then there are some wooden carved people with huge penises, I think, are in her museum. And then there's just exteriors of her stores, which just look like sex shops.
Yeah.
I couldn't find a lot of detail on what happened between her selling the pamphlets and becoming a millionaire.
Yeah, sex shops are fascinating.
They are. I was inspired initially. This has been on my list of ideas for months, maybe even over a year. But there's a place in Memphis, as we know, called Ins and Outs, which I would love to own a sex shop and name it Creative.
You can name it like they always have the
Creativity.
best names.
You have to have the best name.
Oh, yeah.
For this a sex
because
shop.
you may as well.
Yeah, lean into it.
Lean it in.
You're not your
Are they
average
still
shop.
open?
I hope so.
I hope they survived COVID.
Oh God, me too.
Yeah.
We should go in there.
Yeah, we've been in once, and it was to buy gifts for Valentine's Day party. That was such a long time
so
ago.
Long.
Oh my
we were
God.
different people back then.
We were wild.
That's back then when I was like, I don't know what Tommy and I are.
Oh my gosh, yeah. Our Valentine's Day party, it was like, if you're single, wear white. If you're in a relationship, wear red. If it's complicated, wear pink. And Hayley didn't know what to wear. She tried on my pink shirt.
Yeah, I wore pink, but I didn't tell Tommy any of that. So, because I was like, I don't want to have the talk yet. And to tell you about the dress code means we have to have the talk.
So did he just come wearing whatever?
He wore orange.
Oh my God.
He was the only...
It's like, it's complicated. It's complicated. Like, that's double complicated.
Double down. It's so complicated that I don't even know what I'm doing by wearing orange.
And then in that same party, Kelly got on her knees and drank a shot of ranch.
That's the most provocative thing she's ever done.
At least in
that
front of our
I've seen
eyes.
her.
Yeah.
Yes, that I've seen her do. I don't want to say anything either way. But
I'm so sorry, Kelly, but that's funny.
That is so funny.
It's my favorite photo.
The pictures are the best.
Yeah.
The absolute best. And Tommy's in the background making the most disgusting face.
Yeah, he did not like that.
Yeah.
He was probably a very confusing experience, I think, for him, just that whole party.
Truly.
And then COVID happened. That's like the last time I've seen our old friends.
Yeah, less than a month later.
And then we didn't talk to our friends for a year. And then
now
we don't have any friends.
Thanks, COVID.
It's fine.
It's fine. Yeah.
Half of them have moved away anyway.
That's true.
Yeah. Bye.
All
Bye,
right.
friends.
I need to eat mozzarella sticks
Okay.
ASAP.
Me too. I need to cook dinner still. Jesus Christ, it's 8 p.m.
All right.
All right.
Let's do this thing.
Okay. Are you waiting for me?
Yeah.
Okay. Thank you for listening to this chaotic episode. We appreciate you. If you liked it, rate, review, subscribe, Apple Podcasts, you know the deal. You know what to do. Also, YouTube includes in the subscribe area. Do that. And then tell your friends.
Subscribe.
YouTube includes in the subscribe area.
That means subscribe to YouTube. And you know what to do. We have a Patreon. We do things. If you like us, do the nice things. Love you guys. Thank you for listening. Goodbye. 3, 2, 1. Class dismissed.
We love you guys. Bye.